Hi, I'm Jean-Benoit. Today I'm trying to do a kind of a twist. I want to talk about graphic design, large piece and small piece. See what I found. I was doing a poster last year with Martin Benesky for the 50 years of the Man of the Moon. And then I felt on an advertising he was doing, those are postage stamps. So see how beautiful it is. And there are two sheets. And I was so jealous. It's so beautiful. Martin done that. If you compare with the poster, it's almost like a poster, right? And it came to me that I was really interested to talk about who did that. And there is a company called the Portland Stamp Company. And so I picked up all my books about stamp. This is a book from two designers in UK showing some of the stamp they like. I'm so jealous. I designed a postage stamp for the Swiss Post Office, and I'm so jealous it's not in there. Look at that. Oh, we're going to talk about this one. That's funny. From Lance Wyman. Lance Wyman. Actually, one of the partner of this Portland stamp company is has designed this book, this little leaflet published at Catran Press about the development of all the Mexico identity, but here about the postage stamp of Lance Wyman. Niko Courtelis also designed this. This is so beautiful. We will talk about this. This is his little gallery of breaking the rules with stamps. Then we have postage stamps. Do you know who designed this one? We're going to see if the person I'm going to interview knows. We have this also from Catran Press, the AIGA designers who designed stamp, and this beautiful work of Donald Evans, who is an artist who painted by hand postage stamps. So I just pulled out all my book about postage stamp. So I want to meet the people behind the Portland Stamp Company. And I discovered that they are making also, they have made a magazine since 1991. So let's meet them. Hi, Joshua Berger. You are in Portland, and I went to your CD and CV, and then I saw that you were first a sustainability director, then at Whedon and Kennedy. That's an advertising agency in Portland, I think a big one. 93, 95, you were a graphic designer, and then you started something that is called Plazm. We're going to talk about it. And then also, while you were doing this, you were executive creative director at ID Branding, and then brand content director, senior creative director at Liquid Agency. So I go back, I made a list. And it's a sustainability director, graphic designer, and then at Plazm you were president, creative director, curator, graphic designer, and janitor too. And
yes,
then,
well, you got to do everything when you own your own business, and yeah.
And then, yeah, executive director, brand content director, senior creative director. So obviously you like titles.
Well, at the Portland Stamp Company, I'm vice perforator.
Yes, and your partner Niko Courtelis is actually chief perforating officer. That's quite a title.
That's correct. Yeah.
So I have a question. What's to you? I wanted first to ask, what is the enemy of a good design? But since after all those titles, what is the enemy of a good designer?
What is the enemy of a good designer? I think perhaps thinking too much, overthinking things. But what is the enemy of a good designer? That's a great question.
I like thinking too much. I like thinking too much.
Well, thinking is fine, but but if you overthink work, then you can miss the opportunity where good work happens.
Okay.
There are many times where I've seen strategy and account management and overcalculation get in the way of making something good, right?
Yeah. So maybe this was a decision that you didn't took too long to take. You decided for some reason to make suddenly with a friend, I guess, Niko Courtelis, you decided to make a magazine in the 90s. And
1991, we
yeah,
started Plazm magazine. Yeah, and it was a group of friends. It was a group of people who were not satisfied with the avenues of expression that we were finding. So it was artists, writers, photographers, designers, and we were looking for avenues of expression, and we didn't find what we were looking for, so we made our own. And really, in the beginning, I mean, it's such a different era. 1991, the internet doesn't exist, right? So there are many things that are different about the media landscape today than there were. This image that you're showing is from a anniversary party, but those are some early issues of the magazine. But that is, we decide to create our own vehicle for expression, and it was influenced by what was happening in the world around us. 1991 was the run up to the first Gulf War, and in the first issue of Plazm magazine, actually I happen to have it right here, but so the first issue of Plazm magazine, I mean, one of the things that I really loved is we went, myself and one of my collaborators at the time, Patrick Bardell, we went to see a talk by Jello Biafra, who was San Francisco based, former lead singer of the Dead Kennedys, and he said something really prescient in and we walked up to him with a little tape recorder after the interview, and he said something really prescient. He said, "Don't hate the media, become the media." Don't
yeah.
hate the media. So we did. So we became the media, and we continued to publishing till this day. So
yeah. So 2000, I think 2000. You published 30 issues, 31 issues.
30 so far, yeah.
You define that as a collaborative cross-disciplinary platform that encourages exploration among your contributor, and you had also different roles yourself and your partner. You were curators, editors, the artist yourself. You were designing this, etc. And you had so many connections with so many different themes. Like I see names like David Lynch, Laurie Anderson, David Byrne, Iggy Pop, Yoko Ono. So do you think that there is a sort of a connection between design and music, or what was your interest on that time?
Well, it's interesting. I've always thought of Plazm magazine as kind of the sum of the parts. Whoever is involved in the collective at that moment would influence what happens. So, if I'm personally interested in Laurie Anderson, and one of the benefits of having a magazine is, hey, I got a magazine, I can go call and request an interview. And that was the kind of the epiphany that I found after that first, doing that first interview. I mean, Jello is much easier to act. You could just walk up to him after his event. But so not everybody, Yoko Ono is not that easy to access. But if you have a magazine, then you have a platform. And so, people just followed their interest. This this one that you're showing on the left of the screen. It was the National Poetry Slam, and Plazm did all the graphics for that event, but we also had had a lot of poets and in the issue as well. And so just because there's somebody that's involved that was interested in poetry slams and so on, we made it part of the magazine. So later, one of our current editors, John Raymond, who's much more interested in film, so film became a much bigger part of what was being covered in the magazine. So some of the parts, but
yeah. So and then you invited also a bunch of designers, and you have like in your basket people like.
yeah, I love that. I pulled this out. I actually have the original there from Ed Fella right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's those people like Ed Fella, Art Chantry, Rick Valicenti, April Greiman, Milton Glaser, maybe not completely, but even Reza Abedini from Iran, or Jeff Kiddy, or Martin Venesky, or David Carson. I think this is his cover on the back. He messed up your logo.
yeah, that's David. That's the cover David did for us.
I think so. It looked like kind of him. I'm not sure. It might be someone else. Anyway.
No, it's definitely, that's David Carson, number 16. That's Ed Fella, number 17.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was, I mean, we designed it ourselves, but then we started inviting. Plazm was always, my role was art director was my title in the beginning. And that's kind of been my title with the magazine all along. But I designed many spreads, but also, we as a group decide what goes into the magazine. So people would submit things. It was open submissions format from the beginning. And the editor in the first 9 issues, the editor was Neva Nod, and she would take all these submissions that came in. She'd put together a packet. Everybody would read it, and we'd debate, well, this should go in or that should go in. So we would decide things collectively. And once we decided what goes in, then as art director, I would pair up the content, say it's a poetry with a designer. I'd invite a designer, would you design this spread or this series of spreads? And so the pages inside the magazine, there was no format other than you're constrained by the page size. And so as you flip through this, especially the early issues of Plazm, you'd be turning it every which way, and every page looks different. It's only, I mean, in the first, I think it was probably the first five issues or so, we didn't have any color in the magazine. It's all black and white. It's what we could afford. Then we started having spot color, and we got a paper sponsor, and we could have the colored stock and various things. But over time it's changed. The more recent issues, like the ones you're showing, are full color throughout. They're perfect bound, whereas the first one was newsprint and saddle stitched.
But the people you're picking up, like for example, if you look at this one or the previous one, or maybe this one here, it seems that you're working with people that are from a certain vein of graphic design, a certain style, in the way that those are personalities of extremely engaged designers.
Milton is amazing, and it's amazing to have the opportunity to work with them. And actually, we were speaking at an AIGA conference, I think 2002. It was the AIGA National Conference, and we were doing a workshop, and Milton was he was the keynote speaker for the entire event. So our part was much smaller than his, of course. But I remember standing on the balcony in between sessions with my one of my partners then, collaborator from then, Pete McCracken, and we saw Milton walking on the floor below us, and Pete ran after him, grabbed a magazine, ran after him, ran up to him, handed him a magazine, and asked him to do the cover. And we're very fortunate that he not only he said yes, and he gave us this gift. This actually, I'm wearing a T-shirt today too, but of that Plazm 28 cover. So we just told him the theme is luck, and here's the size.
Yeah, so the theme that you guys have, sometimes the content is about even politic, no? Or how do you feel about the society or social issues, or what's the Scary Nightmare about?
Well, that cover was pulled out of an article that's in that issue, and those drawings in Plazm 24, those are by developmentally disabled artists, and then from a collective in San Francisco. And all of, I don't have the rest of that issue here with me, but those, that was, once you find out that the person that did all these drawings is in a developmentally disabled artist collective, it changes the entire meaning of every drawing. I mean, we thought it was beautiful typography. We put it on the cover, and in that issue, actually, we made the whole issue. We made a typeface where all the counters are knocked out like that, like what you see in the counters being the space, inside the A and inside the E and so on.
Yeah,
so
by
the whole issue has typography. It's a New Century actually, but it's a.
But if I look at the barcode, it's really interesting. It's like, if you don't care, Earth is nothing is going, I guess it's going, or nothing go to hell. Or if you do not.
Well, I wish I had the other spreads. There are 3 spreads in the issue from this developmentally disabled collective of artists, and that's what this piece is from.
Yeah.
The cover on the right. This is from this was the issue was, the theme was identity, and that photograph is from Andre Thyssen, photographer in the Netherlands, and we made the type sort of a faux Disneyland version of Plazm there to go with the mouse ears. But he shot all these weird specimens, and
yeah, so you guys are definitely working very engaged in the presence of graphic design, and obviously in the message. And then just before, because when I told you the title Plazm, you said no, it's Plazm. But does it mean anything? Because I was looking under.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it comes from somewhere. So let me just mention the issue between these 2 issues.
Yeah.
Was the architecture issue, right? So completely different. Like, I mean, it really, Plazm magazine is, I believe it's like a zine, like these Xerox photocopied stapled zines. It's just produced on a much bigger scale, much grander scale. But we always, we follow, like we published the architecture issue, then we started getting architecture submissions. It's like, well, we're done with architecture. We're on to Bigfoot now, so, we just follow whatever it is that we happen to be interested in. As far as the name Plazm, it comes from the term protoplasm. So the building blocks of the universe, and we turn the S into a Z.
Okay, because I was looking at the definition of the plasma, and the suffix means living substance, and or the formative material of an animal or vegetable cell. And then I was exactly thinking, it's funny that you're mentioning the protoplasm, because I saw the cytoplasm mold or matrix in which anything is cast or formed.
Yeah.
So this you could be the metaphor for the studio itself, and then the protoplasm could be the designer, you know, the living part of a cell that is surrounded by a plasma membrane. And then there is the idioplasm. I thought the idioplasm would fit with design, you know, and any component of protoplasm, that's the design. And then endoplasm, the more fluid, granular inner layer of the cytoplasm, that would be maybe the concept. And
well, all of our approach is that it's organic in that way. Yes.
yeah. So, and then that's how actually, because in 1991, I was not in America yet. And for me, I knew mostly from America from that time, Emigre magazine, that was something that came all the way there, or other magazines, you know, like from New York or whatever. But I didn't know about your story, and then you started lately to design postage stamps, and I wanted to jump from that sort of a fantastic bucket of graphic design and interviews about culture and so on into something else much more smaller. Here we are now. So you made something called the Portland Stamp Company.
Yes.
And I'm showing here some of your templates and to a little bit. So basically the people can, well, you're working with artists, and we're going to look at that. But before we do that, I wanted just to show that, because if we go online, so I'm going to try to stop sharing, and then I'm going to try to go online. So share again, just to have fun, because I thought that was really interesting.
Sure. Well, I can tell you a little bit about how that came to be if you want.
Yeah. Why don't we wait? First, I want to show something. So I'm in there, and I see that there is custom stamps, blank template. We're going to talk about them, artistry, and the shop. We're going to talk about everything. But here, I like the calculator, because, you know, I think people have not anymore a connection with the price of things. And I think here, for example, if I take a very standard, so it's those pages are 8.5 by 11, and printing, let's say digital, right? You must have a very good digital printing. And then 50, I was not sure what you mean about 50. Is it 50 stamp or 50 sheets?
50 sheets.
Okay, wow. And then packaging, let's say bulk pack, and and then there is a calculator. So 50 sheets of 25, it's you make the math, right? It's 1,500 stamps, I think, or something like that. 1,250 stamps. Yes. That's amazing. And then if you do individual package, $175. So that's really cheap. And then you can upload your own art, yes, send it to you guys, right?
Yes, so we'll print it, we'll perforate it. All of our stamps are printed on dry gum, lick and stick paper, and they're all pinhole perforated using Rossback. They're pinhole perforated by hand.
Yeah.
So that's the way stamps used to be made.
They stick, right?
Oh yeah, you can. There's gum on the back.
Okay.
You can lick the back and stick it onto something.
And then I wanted to go right away. Now I clicked on the artist series. So you have a connection again, like the magazine, with some artists. And you know, I came to your work because of the poster behind me. I made something with Martin Venesky, and then I thought, yes, wow, he made those beautiful stamps. And I went there, And for each artist, you are actually explaining. You have an interview. It's almost a magazine again, you know.
Well, I think that's exactly right, JB. I mean that we've taken the same approach to this artist series that we took with every page of every issue of Plazm magazine. You know,
And
let's
then,
collaborate with other people. Let's invite people. And Martin, you know, he did something that nobody else would do, right? He did something that was unique to him. And actually, if you scroll down a little bit, there's some processed photos. He took the stamps. He asked us to send him some blank paper. And we
yeah,
sent him a bunch of blank sheets of perforated stamps. And then he took that and projected light through it, and so what we ended up printing were photographs that he made using the stamps themselves, the stamp paper itself, right? So
yeah,
that end result, those are all photographs generated projecting light through our stamp paper, and then we perforated them afterward, you know.
yeah.
So really cool project, but we never would have come up with that ourselves. So that the artist stamp series is our way of kind of challenging ourselves
Yeah, I want to make, before
to
we
do
finish,
something we wouldn't ordinarily do.
I have a lot of example because I couldn't stop looking at them, and I have collected them. So we're going to look at them. But let's finish with Martin, because he was really the one who triggered my attention and the will
Yeah.
to connect with you guys. Did you? So you're asking always the same question to the people. You're asking them, "Have you ever done a stamp before?"
Yeah.
And then he says, "Yes, he did that." So I wanted to. Do you know this box? I have it here.
No, I don't, but that's great that you do. But yeah, that's fantastic.
I have the real stuff here, and then he's showing all of his stuff. So let's go to see the other artist, and then let's talk about a little bit
Sure.
how you
Yeah, and I mean,
yeah.
I first met Martin, I guess it was probably 94, 95. I was familiar with his work because we were doing Plazm magazine. He was doing Speak magazine. And we were both Plazm and Martin were in the ID 40, which maybe you know, the ID magazine used to do top 40 designers every year. And so this was mid 90s. They did it, and both Martin and us were in there. And then they had an event at SF MoMA, and so we all went down to San Francisco, and I met Martin, and we had a beautiful visit at his studio, and during that trip, and so that's where I first met him. But I mean, last year we had him. I helped to curate Ben Design, a little design event in Central Oregon, and we had Martin come up to speak last year. So
Yeah,
I have a poster I could show you that too.
His work is amazing, and oh yeah, I wanted to show you something. Before that, do you know this guy? I'm testing you here. Do you know that this guy? This guy, Donald Evans, he makes all his stamps by hand.
Wow.
And they're so beautiful that they are, some post people believe they are real, and they send they send them through.
Get canceled, yes.
Yes.
Well, that's a whole area. I mean, mail art is the whole world in itself, and people have, and there are many people that are making beautiful things in the mail art world. And that's.
I know. And then Niko's, your partner, also is doing something amazing. I saw that. I have also those two books from Catron Press, which of course I'm connected with, and they are those are beautiful, and you can also tell, like, this is from Niko's himself, some of his stamps.
This is a personal project of Niko's. Yes, he has. I have one hanging on my wall back here, actually.
Yeah, and then also he designed another book from about Lance Wyman, right? And
Lance Wyman. Niko wrote this book.
Yeah, and it's also very well designed. I mean, very straightforward and so on. So you guys are not only making crazy stuff, you're quite also very ornate in your design and so on. And the one here is
Well,
a
it
very
depends on
interesting
what it
book.
is.
Uh,
Lance is doing a cover for Plazm magazine, actually.
oh yeah, I did. And then here, Martin, sorry, we jumped a little bit. So the beautiful work enlarged so we can see the perforation, etc. And then here you have all kind of stamps, and of course people can buy them, right?
Yes, absolutely. The artist series are all available for purchase. There are two of them that are sold out, but most of them are still available.
Yeah.
And
So we have those
these
works.
they're all signed. They're all edition of 100. Um, and we also have stamps that are open editions, but all the artist series is signed editions of 100.
Yeah, so Sullivan, I think so. I couldn't stop. You know, I couldn't stop to uh, take them, put them in this show because I thought well, there was one beautiful piece after the other. So Jeff Kiddy and Jan Lehman. I mean, some people have really fun. At the moment, also you put something on stamp, it takes another taste. So you really think that some people are buying them and sticking them on a label?
Oh, I don't know. The artist series, we often say that they're suitable for framing, and I know that some people, actually, there's a customer of ours that was down at the frame shop framing them. So, they're signed editions. So you could certainly frame them, but other people can do what they want with them. I mean, one of the interesting parts with with the design process is what you think about the stamp itself, but then you also must think about the whole sheet, right?
Yeah,
And
that's
so,
why I put those two together. For example, on the left there is a animal in this disparition. I think some
yes, these are all Christina Seeley. All her work is about this kind of thing, about
endangered species, and to the right Kentaho Okawaha, and then Rick Valicenti again. So you're always working with also the people you like, of course.
yeah. Well, Rick, he did a cover for us
Yeah.
for Plazm magazine many years ago, and I reached out to him about the stamps, and he had an idea, and I'm so happy that it came to pass. And it's interesting his whole process with this, and the process of printing this. So this we have a digital. The black is a digital print, and as is the Band-Aid shape. But then it's got a spot varnish on top of it, and then the red is printed letterpress on top.
And there
And
is even his name who's kind of embossed in there.
embossed. Yeah, well, he added that. I mean, we didn't talk about that at all. So we did all that stuff, but when he sent them back, they were embossed by hand with his hand embosser also.
Of course, because they have to sign that. They're signed.
Yeah, they signed. We sent them to him to be signed.
Yeah.
And this was also this one happened all during the middle of COVID, and so there's one intent at the beginning to have them for this opening, and the opening didn't happen. So it got delayed for many months. But I'm really glad they exist. It's beautiful drawings.
Yeah. So you have also, you don't need to have everything straight, right? Like I see that here there are diagonals,
Yeah,
perforations.
sure. We can do a lot of different things with the perforator, and the Sean Techerazzi stamps. That was really fun to collaborate with him. I mean, we know him from early Plazm days in Portland. He used to have a studio a block away from ours, but he was doing a special issue of Crap Pound, which is the thing that he's published for many years, and we both sell our products through our mutual friend at Buy Olympia, and they've stayed open during the pandemic. And so he's doing this as a benefit for to help Buy Olympia. And we said, well, let's make stamps as part of it. And so that's what those are. They're really cool, and they're fun. You know, they're fun, but they also benefit our friends at Buy Olympia.
Yeah.
The one on the right, Jesse Ledoux, he's up in Seattle, and these are 2-color letterpress, and those are just fantastic illustrations. I love the way that the printing adds to the tactile nature of them.
Oh yeah, no, it's not lithography, right?
I'm sorry, say that.
It
It's
is
not
not
lithography.
lithography.
No, it is. This is letterpress.
Okay, no, it's
And then
absolutely.
the Jean Tetrazzi stamps are silk screened.
Wow. No,
So
I wouldn't be able to put one on an envelope unless it would be to someone that I really, really love. And look at this one. Look at this one. So this one is amazing too. I thought, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful.
not Kim. But, you know, she did a pair, of course.
Yeah, this is the other one. And I can hear, I can hear some people saying, oh, I could do that. Well, actually, yes. You guys are selling blank stamps. And
Yes.
I thought that's amazing. So, and I place them here. Look at them. So you can have the long ones, the square ones, and liquid stick. So I have a question about this, because you've been doing so much graphic design in your life, and I want to ask you something. Why does it look like this? Like, why is logo looking kind of so old? And then why the liquid stick is like a font? Like, I have the feeling I'm in 73.
Yeah, it's perhaps got an old-fashioned vibe to it, but that's what it felt right to us. I mean, the cool thing was putting the stamps on the tongue, and we have a new one now. You can get a variety pack. We just released it this week, so you can get one sheet of each of the different sizes, the squares, talls. So you get them all. That way, you can try all of them in one package.
Yeah, or you could also make something, drop it in your printer and stick it, and
Yes. Yeah, there are templates on our website to be downloaded for free, and we can help to make custom stamps for you, but we also made these products so that anybody can just do it themselves with these blanks.
Yeah.
So the more stamps, the better.
The often, just like inside of your magazine, the content of the stamp have something to say. And this one, I understood that it was also the profit were going to an organization to help the people who have been in trouble because of the famous wall between United States and Mexico, right?
Yeah, well, Braulio, we had invited him to do an artist stamp, and when he was working on it, all this stuff was going on, which is still going on with our current administration's attacks on immigrants. And so the stamp on the left, he made first this wall, and we said, well, let's make it and we named it Tear Up This Wall. And so all the proceeds from the sale of both of these stamps go to Cara Pro Bono, which is an organization working. It's legal aid organization working for immigrant rights. And so, yeah, the second one the first one, the one on the left is printed risograph. And then I said, well, what do you want to do for an artist edition series limited to 100? And he just ripped up one of the first stamps, ripped it up, stuck it on the scanner bed, and sent it back. And so then we silkscreen that one. So that's what the second one is.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I see the perforation in the
Yeah,
perforation.
he just ripped up the first stamp, stuck it on his scanner, and sent it back to us. Say, let's print this. That's awesome. I love the way he works.
So often I can tell that you and I read somewhere in an article that you were saying that you believe that design can change the world. So I'm not 100% sure that if we stick something on an envelope we can change the world, but it's a big question. And so you made also some different stamp yourself, I guess.
Well, both of these are designed by Niko. Both of these that you're showing now are designed by Niko.
So what is missing in America? There is something missing in the map. Is it upside down, or there is something?
It's upside down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
well,
then,
he made those stamps right after the 2016 election, and they were really for as part of he's part of a PDX correspondence club, and so he just made some stamps for fun, and we decided to turn them into a product as well because all this stuff is going on, and the president sending his secret army to Portland to target Black Lives Matter protesters. So we decided to put them out as a product as well, backed by popular demand, taking the peace the famous peace saying, but using the Niko's he does what he calls demented calligraphy, and so that's the anarchist A, and dissent is certainly patriotic. There's that is the dissent is what protects democracy, right?
Define dissent.
Dissent is disagreement. I disagree with you, and I say you might be in favor of XYZ, and I'm saying, well, no, it shouldn't be that way. It should be this way. And so that dissent, we're saying it's patriotic, but I'm in addition saying that it is the reason that democracy works.
Yeah,
because
that we can communicate, we can dialogue, and we can argue.
If we suppress dissent, then we become no different than a fascist or totalitarian regime.
Yeah. So, and then here, tell me about that, because I frankly, I have no idea what's going on. I mean, I'm not sure I know. I mean, all over Europe, it is clear that the post office must have closed or readapted to a rethinking of who they are, because people now are doing emails, right? And however, at the other hand, we all ordering so many stuff online that there is a bunch of bulk of package, and I don't understand why that didn't save the post office. But what's going on with the post office? So of course, those are stamps that you guys have, and this is something that I received in my emails, where you're going to laugh on this one. Support vote by email. So is this connected, the post office and the vote by mail? No, not by email.
They're absolutely connected. Yes, they're absolutely connected. It's been politicized because the Donald Trump and the Republican Party know that if everybody votes, they will not win. So they are actively trying to suppress the vote, and that is the reason that Trump has installed a Postmaster General DeJoy, who is sabotaging and undermining the ability for the post office to function. The post office is a constitutionally guaranteed entity in the United States, and it delivers not only ballots, it delivers mail, it delivers medicine, it delivers social security checks, all manner of communication. So even companies like UPS and FedEx rely on the postal service to deliver mail to and packages to rural and hard to reach locations where to go that extra mile. So everybody gets to use it. If you put 55 cents on an envelope, somebody's going to pick it up from your door and take it to the other side of the continent. That's amazing. And the post office should be saved. It's a democratic institution. We love the post office and we celebrate it. And this voting by mail is, here in Oregon, we've been voting by mail for decades. So in Oregon, it's not something new, but a lot of states don't vote by mail. But during a pandemic, a global pandemic, it makes a lot of sense to vote by mail, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So for the health and safety of citizens, voting by mail should be supported. And Trump and the Republicans, the Democrats in the House, they passed they passed multiple bills that save the post office, but Mitch McConnell won't allow a vote on them on the floor of the Senate because they are actively suppressing the vote. Which this election in 2020 is of utmost importance, and we must throw the people out that are trying to undermine democracy.
So you're saying that Trump placed as the director of the post office, one of his supporter, friend, whatever.
Oh yes, he donated millions and millions of dollars to Trump's re-election campaign, and then he was installed as Postmaster General, and with clear, you can watch his testimony before both the Senate and the House a couple of weeks ago. You can watch all that online. He was called in to, defend his dismantling of sorting machines that sort 30,000 letters an hour, much faster than it's not about increasing efficiency. You can't hire people to work that fast. It's about the opposite of increasing efficiency. It's about reducing efficiency. Not only is DeJoy a major donor to Republican Party in Trump's reelection campaign, but he's also invested in both UPS and FedEx. So his interests aren't America's interest.
Yeah, I understand that you also help to raise awareness on voting difficulties, and I also get, yeah.
Before I forget, if you go back to those Save the Post Office stamps, I just want to mention that those are designed. They're not designed by us. We produce them, absolutely, but these are designed by Josh McPhee, and he's an incredible designer. He's based in Brooklyn. He developed that Let's Save the Post Office graphic. He's also a member of Just Seeds. So to buy these, you can go to justseeds.org. So he designed that graphic based out of old post office graphic. And I reached out, I saw him post it on Instagram. I said, we should make stamps out of that. And so that's how that whole process started.
Yeah. Okay. Now
I want to make sure to credit him. It's his work.
So let's talk about this complication now. Everyone is afraid that people are not going to vote. And you were somewhere, I saw that you were working on something called voter power. And then you were saying that you were pushing that the people are voting. And is that true that only 49% of people in America are voting? The half? It's about...
Well, the 2016 election, less than 50% of the voting eligible voting population cast a ballot. So the person that won in 2016 did not vote.
Exactly. So the half
And
of the population voted, and then the half of the eligible population voted, and then the half of it voted for this, and the other one half of this. So it's a quarter.
yeah,
Basically, it's a quarter.
right. Well, right. Yeah, and then whoever wins out of that, yes, it's a quarter of the population. So there are people that believe that your vote doesn't matter. There are people that believe that it's not important, or everything is uh, out of their hands. But I think if if democracy is strongest when we all participate, and those that want to keep um, a hold of the power are trying to disenfranchise and trying to make it harder for people to vote.
Yeah.
They're
So
instituting poll taxes. They're doing, all through the Jim Crow South. I mean, the tactics have changed, but the goals are not. So people don't have to count guess the number of jelly beans in a jar anymore, but they're making it hard. They're closing polling places. They're and Trump is trying to sow doubt by sending out messages that voting by mail isn't safe and so on. I mean, he votes by mail. His daughter, his son-in-law, they all vote by mail, but he just doesn't want you to vote by mail. And he doesn't want you to believe that vote by mail is
safe.
safe.
Like
It's
that.
not
Yeah.
true. It is true. It's safe. It's absolutely safe. We've been doing it in Oregon for decades and many other places that do it. It's absolutely safe. And in fact, it's safer in a pandemic to allow people to vote by mail.
Now I understand. So here, also you have to register. I understand that to help to raise the awareness of voting. So the people are also they don't know how to register. And I'm sharing. I just clicked on Google how to register to vote, and then here it's really interesting. If you are in California, you can change. Actually, there is a drop-down menu for each state, so you can very easily, if you Google how to register to vote, check what is that, and then go there, and then if you click, you land somewhere, and then you can go register to vote, and then it explained in Spanish, Hindi, Chinese, Japanese, Khmer, Korean. Huh?
Yeah, that's great. I think that's great. We have a number of resources on our website as well, and that so plazm.com/vote.
Yeah, I will put it there. I will put it. I will definitely put it. And it's super important. And then I want to finish this story with a last stamp that you have worked. Yes, look at that.
So we did a poster. We did this in 2018. Actually, I was part of a citizen design panel discussion, which I should post that online. I have an audio recording of it, but it was a citizen designer panel, and we asked, we had people, we had actually my daughter Amelia did the makeup. She's a makeup artist, and she painted on people's hands. And then Sumaya Aga, old employee and an old friend, is a photographer that took all the pictures. And so we did that in 2018. There's video that we made out of it with all the various fists. And
oh yeah, let me show you the video. If it starts, it's always a little bit choppy on Zoom, but let's try. It's there is even sound, but
yeah, sound by E-Rock. Yeah, so That's great. And so, yeah, we've done a few things with that, with these fists and stamps are the most recent. All the sales of those stamps benefit the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU.
Say it again. American. Say it again.
ACLU, American Civil Liberties Union. They work to help people vote, and yeah.
American Civil Liberty Union. Okay, I think it's the great moment to stop our interview, but thank you so much
You're
for your
welcome.
time,
Thank you,
Josh.
JB. I appreciate your time too, and I appreciate your interest. Thank you.
Yeah, I love what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Okay,
We're going to keep doing it.
let's keep up.
All right.
Bye.
Take care.
Okay.